Hey Pellers, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be telling you why the 105 group set is the best group set, and you can change my mind if you disagree with me down in the comment section below. But I highly suggest you watch this entire video to hear my points, and if you guys have more valid points, feel free to start a discussion in the comments. But let's get right into this. So currently on my channel, the most viewed video I have is the 105 group set versus the Ultegra group set versus the Dura-Ace group set, and explaining what are the pros and cons of each group set. And then at the end of the video, I actually gave my thoughts on which was the best value group set, but a lot of people still have their opinions. So I wanted to make this video to kind of set the record straight and get the dialogue going in the comment section down below to hear other opinions and thoughts. So if you guys are new to my channel, I highly suggest you like this video and subscribe. It really helps with me putting out content like the one you're watching right now. But let's get right into it. So right off the bat with the 105 group set, I want to let you guys know that I've raced on the Ultegra group set, I've raced on the 105 group set, I've ridden on the Dura-Ace group set, because why would anyone give me a Dura-Ace group set for a whole season to race on if they need it? So I've yet to actually race on that group set. But then again, I'm not a pro, or I will be a pro anytime soon, so I will not be needing the Dura-Ace group set, but I do have riding experience on all these group sets. So in terms of am I qualified to make these claims? Yes, I am, because I have lots and lots of kilometers on these group sets. Now, to give you guys an idea, I mentioned this in the last video, but I will make it apparent. Last season, I rode about 10,000 kilometers on an Ultegra mechanical group set, and this season, I've already ridden almost 20,000 kilometers on my 105 group set. The only thing I switched out recently was, let me grab it, the 105 crank I put on an Ultegra power meter, dual-sided. So currently, my whole road bike is set up mechanical 105, but with an Ultegra crank. So jumping right into it, we're going to talk about the price point. Now, the price point is something I absolutely love about the 105 group set. We're talking about $600 to $800 worth of the group set. That's the price of the group set. We're not talking about $3,000 like you see in Dura-Ace. We're not talking about $1,500 to $2,000 on Ultegra, and especially we're not going to get into electronic group sets. For a mechanical group set, brand new, $600 to $800 USD is a steal. And the reason why I say that is because it has a low barrier of entry, meaning that if you're new to the sport or you don't have a big budget like myself, getting a group set that gets the job done, that will let you be competitive but not break the bank, is so crucial. And one thing I love about the fact that 105 is so affordable is that if you ever do crash it, you're not going to be sweating, being like, oh my god, I just crashed my rear derailleur that cost $600. How am I going to replace it? You know, the fact that like on a Dura-Ace Di2 group set or even an Ultegra group set, one part being the front mech or rear mech can almost be pretty much the whole cost of a mechanical 105 group set. Blows my mind. So I'll give you guys a quick real life example. I have a gravel bike that has 12-speed E-tap. Now, I love it, don't get me wrong, but I actually had a little spill in it and it just got a little scuff, but I was sweating so bad after I got up. I was like, please do not tell me that my rear mech is destroyed and I have to buy a $600 rear mech. So just because I'm not there, as many of you watching it are not, just have endless amount of money to spend on cycling, and that doesn't mean that if you do have a lot of money, you can't buy expensive group sets. I'm just saying for the normal person, the normal average rider, I don't think you want to be stressing that if I did take a little wipeout and I break my rear mech, that pretty much I'm not riding for the next 3 months until my next paycheck. I don't think that's positive, especially if you ride a lot. So I usually have a better time riding on my road bike, knowing that, you know what, worst case, if I do crash or spill, I can just replace it pretty easily when compared to more expensive parts where you have to kind of sweat and be like, I really hope nothing bad happens because I really don't want to fork over my next paycheck. So that's what I mean by in terms of price point. I just love the price point of the 105 group set. Very just cheap, but not cheap because it's actually good quality. So I don't like to call things that are good quality cheap. So I'm going to keep with the terminology of affordable. Now going to the next point in terms of shifting. Now, I already said this, I've ridden all group sets. Now, yes, if you ride more than 15,000 kilometers to almost 20,000 kilometers, you will know instantaneously what is 105, what is Ultegra, and what is Dura-Ace. That's just because you ride a lot. Now, to the seasoned rider, if you were blindfolded and you're most likely riding 3 times a week and roughly 60 to 70 Ks, you're not going to be that in tune with your equipment that you're going to be able to tell a significant difference. Not saying that you can't. Definitely, I still think you can tell, but just it won't be significant. Where if you ride a lot, and that's why it goes into why pros ride with Dura-Ace, is because if you're riding and racing, you know, hundreds of kilometers every week, you know, you want the best performs in terms of shifting. So an 8 out of 10 that I would give to the 105 group set in terms of shifting won't be satisfactory for a pro rider that rides way more than I do in a week, and that's actually racing at the highest of the highest level. So they need that 10 out of 10 shifting. Now, do I think you get that 10 out of 10 shifting on Dura-Ace or Ultegra group sets? Yes, but here's the compromise. If your 105 group set is properly dialed in and properly tuned compared to, let's say, the average person, that's because we all know racers have pro mechanics working on their bikes, tuning them every day. So to the average rider that has an expensive group set, if they're not tuning it every day, and trust me, I've worked at bike shops, usually these people forget about their bikes, they neglect their bikes. So I really wish people that bought expensive group sets took care of their bikes. But when we got these bikes in, everything would be whack. You know, they would need so much adjusting. They forgot to even lube their chains. So for the most part, compared to the normal person on the group ride that has an expensive group set, or even let's say the Grand Fondo, if you come with a fully nice tuned out bike that you can learn some stuff online to just keep things working smoothly, your bike will actually ship better than the expensive group set that they spent 3 times on theirs versus your 600 to 800 USD on your 105 group set. So that's what I wanted to say. Now, these are the positives of the 105 group sets, right? So the trickle down effect that Shimano has is a lot of the old Dura-Ace or Ultegra performances has trickled down now onto the 105 of today, which is the R700. So meaning that, and this is from my opinion, I've ridden old Ultegra. I forget which Ultegra, but it was the silver one. And if I'm being genuinely honest, the only thing I really notice in terms of my performance on the bike is just how fit I am. Whether, you know, I took a month off and did some light training versus if I'm in a training block, that's the most, and that should be what you're actually looking for. That should be the most important thing you're actually observing, rather than, is my shifting a little bit better? Because yes, over time shifting will get better, but the technology pretty much is so high up now that unless it's going to be ETAP or electronic group sets, in terms of shifting, as long as you have the base, which is 105, now I'm not going to suggest, and I said that on all my videos where I talk about group sets, no, realistically, if you ride a lot and plan on racing, Tiagra is just not going to be a good group set. I already said that, especially because it doesn't come 11 speed ready. So I've already mentioned that, but then again, there's some Ultegra group sets or even 105 group sets, but I would say more so Ultegra group sets of the past that are 10 speed that you can definitely race on. But it's cool that that technology has trickled down into the 105. And this brings me to my next point. In terms of the 105 of today, the Dura-Ace of today, and the Ultegra today, they all relatively keep the same shapes in terms of ergonomics and in terms of what the parts look like and how they perform. The only thing that really changes is the materials. So now that brings me into the cons of the 105 group set. Now, in terms of the cons, we have it's heavier because it uses cheaper materials when compared to Ultegra and Dura-Ace. And in terms of the weight, we're looking at about 200 to 300 grams heavier that the 105 is when compared to the Ultegra and the Dura-Ace, which I find very funny, because if you're worried about 200 to 300 grams, are you really optimizing yourself in terms of how fit you can be on the bike? Are you shaving off every gram, every pound that you physically can? Now, I'm just saying that because there's a lot of weight weenies that forget, why spend 3 times the price when you can just work out, be fit, take care of your body, eat right, and you would save thousands of dollars, because I'm pretty sure 300 grams versus 5 pounds, the 5 pounds will go way longer in terms of performance and your net return on, you know, not purchasing anything, just working on your body, rather than the return that you get from saving 300 grams but paying 3 times the price. So I really want that to stick in your mind in terms of don't get caught into the weight weenie mentality. But yes, that is a con. 105 is the heaviest group set when compared to Ultegra and Dura-Ace and the electronic versions of those as well. So the points I'm going to end this video off on are that 105 is probably the most affordable performance group set. Now that's a tongue twister right there, but in terms of price and the return that you get, it gets the job done. You can definitely race on it. It lasts. It's robust. If you have to replace things, it's not that expensive. You can definitely race on it, which I have, and I've put on tons of kilometers and have not had really any performance issues whatsoever. So in terms of just the price point, that is undisputable. You're not most likely going to have a point that's going to say, yeah, you know what? Yeah, definitely I'm going to get Ultegra or Dura-Ace. I personally think, unless you're really sponsored or you're giving the group sets for free, which I don't know how you get that unless you're sponsored or a pro athlete, Ultegra and Dura-Ace is just not needed whatsoever. I don't think you need to buy it as yourself. Now, if you're racing or you're doing some crazy events and you get sponsored, then definitely take the Ultegra, take the Dura-Ace. But for the normal average club rider, weekend warrior, just even person that wants to stay in shape, 105 is definitely all you need. I just love the fact that you can replace parts, not feel bad about it. Now, the next point I would love to hear you guys debate is that you're not saving 200 to 300 grams with 105 when compared to Ultegra and Dura-Ace models, which basically means that if your peak performance, peak physical shape, peak weight, peak race weight, then yes, you would want to save every grams, but then again, you would be in the professional category at that point. If you are 5% body fat and riding your bike, you most likely are either gonna go pro or you are a pro. So it's very unlikely that, you would not, if you take training that serious, that you won't get to a point where you are sponsored. But then again, even if you're that fit, riding a 105 Groupset in terms of what we already mentioned before makes sense in terms of economical, in terms of replacing, in terms of just ease of mind. It just makes more logical sense. And I'm not even going to get into the electronic Groupsets in this debate because realistically, 105 doesn't even have an electronic Groupset at this moment. Now, eventually when things get way more cheaper, and we probably won't see this for the next 10 to 15 years, but 105 will eventually be electronic. And even at that point, I would say it would be a little bit better. But then again, I can't even say that because technology is just more expensive, because when you have moving parts that are electronical and have motors and whatnot, having a cable that if it breaks, you can just slide in another cable is a lot better than having moving parts. Now, I'm not saying that, yes, I personally love ETAP. The fact it's all wireless, the fact I don't have to worry about cables, it has made my life so much more enjoyable on the bike. However, like I said, I crashed. I thought the world was going to end and my wallet was going to end as well, but thankfully it didn't. But like I said, that's why I'm not going to bring up electronic Groupsets, because it's not even a fair comparison. And then again, my rebuttal to that is $600 for a rear derailleur, $600 for a whole Groupset. You do the math, right? Now, like I said, it's a little bit better in terms of shifting, in terms of the ease. You don't have the cable, you don't have the tune. I get it. But like I said, 105, ease of mind, cheap, affordable, replaceable, gets the job done, decent shifting, 8 out of 10. Please try to change my mind in the comment sections down below. You know what I'm saying. Please, when you use Ultegra and Dura-Ace, you better not say if you're a professional. I already said if you're a professional, Ultegra or Dura-Ace is the Groupset for you. But for the average rider, you do not need Ultegra, you do not need Dura-Ace, and you definitely do not need electronic Groupsets. So that is why, in my opinion, 105 is the best Groupset for the average rider. I will have to add that in. Please try to change my mind in the comment section down below. And if you guys like these styles of videos, I'm trying to switch up the format. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and until the next one, keep on pedaling.